Hey folks, welcome to week one of assembly drawings. And we're going to start out the first 3 weeks. We're actually just doing some part drawings, but they're complex, more complex than the things that you have been doing. To get started, I want you to set up your inventor similar to the way I've got mine set up here. And we'll start up here on the panels. You can go ahead and open up, start to a new, let me back up. With every assignment in here, you should be creating a new project for every assignment. And so you'll create a folder, if you will. And just to give you an idea, well, that's not good. Here's a good idea right here. Okay, so here's where I'm storing my files. Here I've created a folder called 1417. And there's my project file and my parts and my drawings for that one. Okay, so you can either create a folder using the File Explorer or in Inventor when you go to create a new project. And you do that before you start a part drawing. Up here you click on Projects, create a new project, create a new folder, give it a unique name. The assignment number works good. Store it. I store mine in folders by weeks, so I know what they are when they're going on, because I have to reference back to them quite often. Anyway, everything works off of projects in Inventor. Okay, then you can start a new part file, and this is an English Imperial part file. And then up here in the palettes bar, right click and go Show Panels. These are the ones that I like to work with. I turned off a lot of the default ones because I don't really use them that often. Okay, and if I need to create a free form or a surface, then I can turn those back on for that particular, part or assembly. I use primitives more often than not, so I like that, and I like the measure panel because it makes it quicker and easier to measure things. So set those up. If you have not set up your project options, go through and do that, especially if you've got a new installation of Inventor. And you can see here, I do not have a startup action. I don't want it creating a new file when I open things, okay? Let's see, save. Yeah, this is a prompt time. Yes, don't turn that off. You got to save your work. Colors, if you want to change your background colors, that's fine. I use presentation with a white background because of doing the videos. It just makes it easier. Display. Down here, reverse direction and zoom to cursor. If you reverse direction, it makes it work the same as AutoCAD. Okay, as far as zooming your mouse wheel. Okay, I find it easier to keep them all the same. Let's see, drawing. You can pause this and look at this if you want to. I like to use the IDW drawing files so that I don't get confusion with AutoCAD DWG files. So I would appreciate it if you would do that also. That's the big one on this one. Sketch. Can't think of anything there that needs to be done. Okay, let's see, part. Yeah, no new sketch. I don't want it to automatically go to something. Okay, and assembly, the big one on assembly is place and ground first component at origin. Okay, and that'll get you, oh, wait, I can't remember where it was at, heads up display. I think it was on the general, if you want the home thing, it shows you recent files, that's fine. You can leave that turned on. Maybe it's on display. Sketch. Here we go. Enable heads up display. That is the the pop-ups for you to directly put in your dimensions. Okay, so this one, we got a new project, we got a new part. This is exercise 1413. It's the RH tool post, the right-hand tool post. And we're going to work on, we're going to do a box. But I'm going to expand that. So I'm going to use a primitive. So I'm going to do a box. And I'm going to do my sketch on the XY plane. Okay. And I can go center. That'll be fine. And we'll go ahead and do this one. So the width is 3.12. The height, careful of the height because it's 3.76. And we want to extrude it asymmetrically because I want that XY plane to be on the front surface of that notch. Okay. And so we want to, we got to do a little math on our stuff here. And so right now we're looking at the distance coming forward as being distance A. And so that is distance A is going to be 3.4. This is complicated. Minus the 2 plus the slot, and I'm going to use the lower tolerance 0.75 plus 0.2. Okay, and then the distance going back from that slot. I mean, you can certainly do the calculator math if you want to. It's in Inventor here. One good reason for doing it in Inventor is that if somebody comes along after you to look at your part or modify your part, they can see the dimensions that you used to create it with. Okay, and so going back is going to be the 2 minus the 0.75 minus the 0.2. And we'll say, okay. Now let's check. The depth of that is 3.4. So I think we're golden on that. All right. So we got that. Now I want to do a sketch on the front. You just got to be aware of your front view here. So I'm going to do a sketch on the front and take care of these little notches at the bottom. So we'll do a sketch there. And I am going to draw some exaggerated size lines to create that, just making sure I'm getting my perpendicular snaps. Oh, it didn't come across. There we go. All right. And now then, let's apply some dimensions. I'm going to look at them in the book here. Huh? This is weird. That's not what I was expecting. Hang on a minute. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to place the dimensions that we need for this, and then you can come back and edit them yourself. Okay, and so we know how far up that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead, instead of mirroring, I'm going to go ahead and draw over here. And you can use equal constraints. And I know we've got a dimension from here to there. And then from the center over also. And then the width, I've got that width, and I did an equals constraint. I'm going to show my constraints. So I see. So I got an equals, I got parallels. I can make these collinear. It didn't work. What happened? Okay. All right. So I'm going to pause and put my dimensions in, and then you can do the same. Okay. I got all my dimensions applied. For this one, you'll have to do the math to get from your total overall heights to the height of the object in the rear. These, according to the book, this is not half of this. Okay, so it doesn't matter which tolerance we use. It's not symmetrical, if you will. So use the dimensions in the book, and pretty much everything here I'm going to use the lower limits on the dimensions. So you'll get those in, make sure you're fully constrained, and then we will extrude a cut. And we're going to go through all the way to the back. There we go. Okay. All right, we're at 12 minutes on my video. All right, we'll go a little further. We're going to do a new sketch, and we're going to do it on that XY plane. And remember, I said that was the front surface of that sloped notch. So we're gonna cut the notch, the 0.75 deep notch out of here first. And so let's go ahead and project some geometry there. And I'm going to draw a line, a horizontal line across. And an angled line down. And now let's connect those 2 points, or those outside edges. And now we can put in some dimensions. And now remember, this is the inside of the notch, okay? And so this there's that dimension, and then there's an angle dimension right there, and then there's a height from this point to the bottom edge, from this edge up to that point. And those should do it. So you put those dimensions in, and we'll come back. Okay, so I got my dimensions in. You should too. So we'll finish this, and now we're going to extrude that profile. We're going to come forward, but we're going to cut the 0.75. Oh, it changed directions on me, so let me bring it back to the front. Okay, because there's that plane, remember? Okay, and so that it created a sloped notch through there. So we're kind of working this one. That we built our big box, and then we're just taking things apart instead of adding to it. And it just works out the way the dimensions are given to us in the book with this. All right, so now we're going to do the next little piece, the two little lips, the little lip at the front, that's a 0.20 thickness. And so we're going to do a sketch on this surface. But I'm going to flip it back around so that I can see what I've got here. And it's already got the what was that? It drew something, huh? Okay, so I'm going to do an offset. Oh, no. That's going to offset the whole thing. I don't want the whole thing. What happens if I... Okay, so that'll work. Oh, wait, no. So I'm going to offset that line. We won't do it. So we'll just draw a line across there and make sure it's perpendicular there. Okay. And let me get front facing. And then we'll come from there and come down an indeterminate length. Do some trimming. Okay, and so let's see. So we have a dimension from here down to here. And we have this dimension. Now this needs to be an aligned dimension so that it's excuse me, not aligned. The dimension needs to be perpendicular to the two lines. And that is 0.20. Do not make the mistake of going vertical with your dimension because you'll end up getting boo-booed. Okay, once you get your dimensions in, now we're going to extrude and we're going to cut to the front. Through all. All right. So we're at 18 minutes. I'm going to pause the video and start a new one.